What you speak activates life or death. So you can by yourself kill your marriage even without getting married. The people will tell you, I cannot marry. No good marriage exists. No good marriage. There's no good relations. No good men. You know what? They are speaking to themselves. They think they are speaking to somebody. They're having a conversation. And before you know it, you can't understand why you just find yourself into wrong relationships. You just realize that, how come I'm in marriage and my marriage is not doing well? You know why? Your words projected you as a divorcee before you divorced. Your words projected the separation before you separated. Your words entertained unknown to you that bad guy, that bad lady, before you even realized it. It started with your words. I left my grandparents' home, got to school, saw all manner of things. But yet, my confession did not change. What you confess is always what you manifest. It doesn't change it, because words are spirit. The words that I speak are spirits and their life. So what you speak activates life or it activates dirt, is what you are speaking. Just imagine me after this kind of experience. And I got into my first relationship. I had my first relationship. I was going out with a pastor. He said, God said we should marry. And then we started a relationship. One day, long story short, in the relationship, first of all, I used to see him have spiritual daughters. This one is my spiritual daughter. This one is spiritual daughter, spiritual daughter, spiritual daughter. But I used to find spiritual daughter on the bed with him. I'd be like, spiritual daughter. He would tell me, they just came to visit, all this. I said, talk. Anyways, long story short, I knew that there was something I was doing with someone and all of that. Anyway, when I finished my service here, NYC, and I was going to round up my service here, in my mind, we're going to get married. Because he told me, I was planning to travel out. He told me that God said I should not travel out. And I used to believe every word he says, God said, God said, God said. I don't know whether I was not hearing God said. So, and then one of the days, after my service, thinking that we're going to get married, my dad wanted me to travel out. I stopped the whole admission process. I want to marry. God said we should marry. I should not travel out. And then one day, he sent me a text message out of the blues. He said, God said we should not be together anymore. He said, God said we should not be together anymore. And I was like, wow. And I was trying to call him to have a conversation. His phone went off. I called and called. As I was trying to call, he wasn't picking. I was having hot dysentery. I didn't know when I found myself in the toilet a couple of times. That was when I knew that your mind is connected to your stomach. Have you experienced heartbreak? Can I see real people? Your own is not breakfast, lunch and dinner was added. Mama was only breakfast, thank God. For God. And there's nothing I didn't think about that period of my life. It was not like he said, can we hang out so that we can have a conversation? He sent me SMS, 4 naira SMS to break up with me. 4 naira. That's SMS. 4 naira, high is 5 naira. That's what he sent to me, SMS. He didn't even like, this girl, we think she's beautiful. Let's just have a conversation. So he sent me SMS saying, God said we should not be together anymore. He used revelation to start, he used revelation to end. Now, I'm saying all these things, it might sound funny, right? I came from a wrong background. My first relationship was wrong. Now, this relationship I was in, it was wrong. Not only wrong, it was now that I was now going to be, I was in a relationship with a pastor. And then years after, I'm meeting my husband, then as my fiancé, or as a guy, who was now interested in me. And long story short, this person was now a pastor. A pastor broke up with me SMS. Another pastor. Listen, if I had not healed in my mind and spoken the right words, I would never have ended up with him. And if I had not ended up with him, probably I've been missing out on this part of my fulfillment in life. What am I trying to say? What you speak creates atmosphere. The words that you speak can change the circumstances around you. It starts with the words that you speak. From one place, from one situation, I got into the next, and then relationship. So I had to intentionally, after I experienced the heartbreak with that pastor, I had to still stay on the word. Listen, don't just have confessions today, it must be a continuous thing. You don't just speak words today and then you stop talking. You have to keep on talking until you see some things change, until you see that your mindset is being renewed, until you find healing in your heart. You shouldn't stop talking. So I kept on speaking. I remember writing some specific words with scripture. I'll paste it on the wall and I'll be speaking to myself. Why? Because listen, with all of the situation that you see, is what you speak that forms the right picture. And when it forms the right picture, it forms the right pattern to follow. So your words create a different picture, and from picture, it creates the right pattern for you to follow. From the fruit of their lips, people are filled with good things, and the work of their hands bring their reward. If you go down to verse 5, when Boaz came in, take it down to verse 5. Let's see what happened. Then Boaz said to his servant, Ruth has spoken. She said, let me go and glean on the field in whose hearts, in whose sight, I may find favor. She spoke. That was the first thing she did. She spoke. That was the first thing she did. Naomi had already told her that she had a relative, right? Naomi has mentioned it to her. But you see, the fact that she was connected to Naomi and Naomi had a relative doesn't mean that she will find favor in the eyes of her relative. It doesn't matter if there was a connection. Somebody can be connected to you, doesn't mean that the person will be recommended by you. The person will stay with you. So that was what happened. And then about Ruth said she had spoken. Then verse 5, it says, when Boaz came back from Bethlehem, and then he came to the field, Boaz said to his servant, who was in charge of the reapers, he said to them, whose young woman is this? I have heard some persons say, Ruth was beautiful, that's why. But there are many beautiful people who are single and not yet married. It's not because they are lacking beauty that they are not married, because they've not been found. They've not been seen. So it's not because she was beautiful. Could it also be that there were other young women there? Because it looked like he pointed, whose young woman, whose? So he was particular about someone. Whose young woman is this? This is what I'm talking about. The right words create the right atmosphere. Whose young woman is this? I have seen people who come to meet me for counseling and they tell me, I am beautiful, but I don't know what's happening to me. Nobody's asking me out. In fact, there was a case I was handling. We had a program called My Relationship Conference. And this lady came to meet me. For how many years of her life, she has not been asked out. She has not been asked out. That was when I knew that even if a bad person asks you out, it's a testimony. I'm serious. It was in our experience that I knew that there are people that... I'm like, wait, hold on. You mean? And she's beautiful. There are some people you see, they are beautiful. I don't know if you understand. They are wonderful. How will I explain it? There are people that you see just so that this person is... When you see the person, you don't need to look where. You just say, wow, this person is beautiful. There's no point you look like, okay, the nose, the leg, that kind of thing. This lady from head to toe, she's beautiful. And then she mentioned to me, I asked her, I said, wait, you mean you have not been asked out? She said she has never been asked out. Like, no guy has walked up to you to say, hi, hello, you're fine, I want you, I want something to do with you. She said, no. I said, wait, even bad guys? She said, nobody. Even married men? No. That was when I knew that. And I realized that my grandmom used to tell me something that if somebody asked you, thank God, I didn't understand what it meant until, because it's like, they're disturbing me my phone. You say, you save different people, they are different numbers. This one has not been asked out. So if they ask you whether good or whether the person is even bad or a married man, is a testimony. She said she has never been asked out, but she was in the field, but she had not been asked out. Nobody had approached her. Nobody had said, what lineage, what clan are you from? I am interested in you. She has never had. So she didn't even know what it is to even select, how much more design selection. Because she has never been asked out. So could it be that there were women like this on the field? It wasn't about beauty. It's that she first of all spoke favor, and favor was activated around her. She said, whose young woman is this? Boaz said he came to the servant in charge of the reapers. Why was it the first thing that he had to say? Why was she the first person that he had to recognize? Because at this time, he didn't even know if she was from Naomi. If you go down, you see that he asked the next question. Whose young woman is this? It was when he asked that he got a response. So when you speak the right words, there is an atmosphere that is activated around you. There's an atmosphere. It's the right words. Have you wondered why people just come and they just pass you and move to the next person? You are wondering what's going on. I realize that what you speak creates a fragrance, either a bad or a good fragrance. It creates a smell around you. Somebody was sharing with me that she came to realize that the reason she suffered what she suffered in marriage was because many years ago she was so battered, she was traumatized with some experience from her parents that she began to tell herself that you know what, there's no good person. She said even when her husband came there, she used to tell her husband that all men are the same, not because you have money, you'll be unfaithful. She got married to the man, started seeing unfaithfulness. She started seeing unfaithfulness. And she was saying, she said, when the man would come and tell her that, you know what, I'm struggling, can you just pray for me? She said, what's there to pray? All men are not the same. She'll be saying the same thing in marriage. Because this is not just about for singles, even in marriage. What are you saying? What you say creates the sight you want to see. what you say. Words are very powerful. Words are very powerful. Words are spirit. Life is very spiritual. Marriage is spiritual. So what you say creates the things that you want to see, compels certain things that you want to see around your life.